Hi there, I'm Barbara Turley, and you're watching another episode of Feminine Wealth TV, the show that uncovers the diamond tips on creating truly conscious wealth from change makers, world shakers, and wealth creators. And I'm super excited to be joined on the show today by a wonderful Italiano serial entrepreneur and leadership consultant, Alessia Marini. Alessia, welcome to the show.
Hi, Barbara. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to invite me to your show.
Yeah, and I'm excited because I've actually had one other international guest on the show. I had a lady called Pina De Rosa, who's also Italian, but she lives in California. And
wow.
So we did a Skype interview as well. So it's great having you on the line.
Because we'll move to California in July. So
I should connect you with Pina.
Oh, sure. We are connected now from Rome, but we will move to San Francisco soon. So
exciting.
Italian, crossing the bridge and the ocean and moving there.
Truly international.
Yes, true.
So Alessia, I'm just so excited to have you on the show because, I just love that you spent basically a decade driving 7 international businesses across 5 different countries and scaling them to a whopping $30 million. I mean, that is just such an amazing feat. And on top of all that, you did all that before you were 30 years old. So, of course, I'm dying to know, what is the formula for such supersonic success like that? But before we get into that, I'm just really keen to know, where on earth did this entrepreneurial spirit really come from with you? Where did it start?
Well, thank you for the question, Barbara. Where did it start? That's quite a long question.
Yeah.
Actually, I come from an entrepreneurial family, so I can say that I was immersed in this entrepreneurial mindset and energy since I was 3 months old, probably.
Yeah.
And I was born into that. I was always around my parents working and around their office. And I take it on very easily. They are so passionate about what they do. Even now, my father is in his 70s and he's still working, and he's so passionate that he organizes event. Last weekend he was in Perugia, a wonderful city in Italy, because he organized an international golf challenge.
Wow.
With sponsors and guests arriving from everywhere. And he's so passionate that I was always in that energy about building something, growing it, creating a new project, involving people from other parts of the world. So it was so natural for me to step into that. That I don't know where it started.
Yeah, that's amazing. As you say, that was very natural for you to step into that because it's what you saw, it's what you knew from childhood.
Up with that.
Yeah.
We sat at the dinner table with my parents, and we would talk about business. They would always involve me. I'm their only child.
Okay.
So I was always involved. They would tell me, they would share with me what was going on. They would bring me with them when they were traveling for their work. So it was very interesting to me, and I was very engaged in these conversations for very, very early on.
And did your parents work together? Was your mother in the business as well?
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Work together, so I could see from very early on even, all the nice parts of working together,
yes.
All the challenges.
Yeah, in the family.
I'm sure that they complete each other, so they could build what they did because of their 2 energy coming together.
Yes.
They are very complementary. So while my father is much more, a get it done person and a number person, my mom is more about public relations and.
Oh, that's a perfect team. Yeah.
So they work very nicely together, even though they needed to find their balance for sure, and they needed to find different areas where they could really apply their strength.
Yeah.
Each of.
And what about, so in Italy, I'm interested to know, Italian culture, I'm Irish, so I'm close enough to be able to say this, but it always feels like such a masculine culture. And I just wondered, how is it for women and leadership in Italy, and how you were brought up?
Well, thank you for the question. That's an interesting question, Barbara, because actually that's very much part of my journey, and it's part of what I'm passionate now in the world, which is empowering women. And this starts from what I experienced. I was always in these conversations. I loved it. Then I stepped into, at the beginning, to my parents' business. I started to run it when my father got sick. And but I was still in in a frame of, in order to be a business person and a successful one, you need at least to act like a man.
I know, that's we all feel like we have to become men of women in order to succeed. Yeah.
Exactly. I see so many women that, all around the world in that conversation. And I think this was one of the biggest lessons, and I'm so grateful for that, from Pierpaolo, my coach, when he came in, because at some point I was like totally worn out and I lost interest in the business. I didn't feel it like something fulfilling and empowering. I actually felt like I needed to leave outside of the office door, part of my personality. And when it helped me actually understand that I shouldn't do that. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't even helpful, because I had a little bit this role model of my father as the business person. So we often have these role models where we think, when we face a situation, what would this person do, or how would this person handle that? Which is very empowering on some levels, and sometimes it can be challenging. And for me, it was very challenging, because then I actually left aside part of my personality, and I tried to have relationships with people like he would have them, and to solve problems like he would do it, but it wasn't me. Yes. And this was affecting both me and my results.
Yeah. So did you find, what I love about that story, actually, and I think a lot of viewers, it's good for them to hear that, because now today you're this massive success story, but it's good to hear the reality of when you first started out. You said you were drained, you just, you weren't getting the results, you were wanting to just leave the office and get away, and so you could be yourself. So, what was the pivotal moment for you to kind of push, when did you sort of push through that and realize, wow, I could make this into a massive success?
Well, look, it started really when I was like totally hopeless, saying I just want to exit that. Like, I felt trapped, because I felt like my parents built all that, and I didn't want to let them down. My father wasn't good, and it was weird to just leave. So I actually engaged with a coach at that moment. And I wanted him, my request was for him to help me transitioning out.
You were finished.
In a way that the business could still, going and maybe grow, because I was like, I'm not able to grow it anymore because I'm not passionate. And he came in and he said, why are you not passionate about that? And I said, because I can't express myself here. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to live my life like that. And he was wonderful. He actually took me on a journey to discover how I could actually bring all my personality. And that's what I'm so, it's so critical for me, to empower women in understanding they can actually be themselves. And, the world has so many men already. They don't need more.
We need more feminine energy.
We need women to step out and really, be powerful in their energy, bringing their strength, their passions, whatever they love into their business. They don't need to dig out. It's actually part of them, and it's part of creating a powerful business and a powerful brand, because it creates more genuine connections. People can really connect with you when you share about who you are and what your passions are. If you leave them aside, the connections.
Or if you hide who you are.
Yes, it's a weird feeling. But many women are in this weird spot where they want to be successful, they are passionate about their business, but they actually hide a little bit their personality behind some sort of ideal business person that they should be.
Yes, I think particularly in the corporate world as well, in the big institutional or big companies, that really happens.
Well, what I've seen, and then, as you know, over the years, I transitioned over coaching, and I'm especially passionate about coaching women, obviously. And what I've seen is that, sure, in the corporate world, you have that because of the whole structure that you have around you. Whereas in the private world, so in the entrepreneurial world, you have still women that think that, and they just think, okay, but I will just build something very small so I can be myself.
Yes, I know, because they equate big. Actually, the women are equating big international businesses that make lots of money with a masculine paradigm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they're like, I will just make something. I just want to build something small so that I can be myself.
Because otherwise, I can't be myself. Yeah.
Then I need to give up on being myself, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
Helping them to understand that they can have, a business as big as they want, and it doesn't mean that it needs to be super big, but they don't need to, set limits on their dreams. And at the same time, they can be themselves. They can have them both together.
Yeah,
and that's
and
something
be super successful. Yeah. So tell me then, so you hired this coach to help you transition out, and he actually helped you to not only stay, but to transition to another level, I guess, within that original business and to succeed.
We grew the company a lot, even because he helped me connecting the business with my passions. So he started to ask me, these weird questions. He came in and he would say like, "Hey, but what are your passions?" And I would start to talk about, connecting with people and animals, and I didn't even know why we were talking about that.
Yes.
At some point, he would make some sort of points to reframe it about my business and how I could apply all these passions in my business. And over time, I actually really transitioned in being really passionate, even because I realized that I was so passionate about people, and I actually had, 35 people at the beginning depending on me because they were working on my business, in my business with me, and all their families as well. So I became very passionate about, knowing every one of their stories and, their challenges, helping them through that, creating a very powerful team, creating, situation for the team to really merge together. And the energy in the office changed totally. And then I brought this same passion over to my clients. So I started to have very, very deep and, strong relationships and connections with them. And this makes the business just grow and grow and grow. And it was wonderful because I could actually bring all that. Moreover, I had a big passion about, and I still have it, my big passions are animals and children. And I wanted
a lot of women would, yeah.
And I wanted to do something, I felt the business was about tourism, so travels.
Right.
Which is nice and it's a lot of fun, but I couldn't really see it as something that could really help someone, that had a problem.
Right, okay.
So I created a whole project with my team together to help a structure that was helping children in Brazil that had no families. So we created a whole support project where we would not only give part of our profit to this structure, but we created, events with our clients, and we involved all our suppliers in giving something. We created, big lotteries where we would give away prizes and people would buy tickets all over Italy at the beginning. And it was a lot of fun, and this gave me a lot of fulfillment, actually. We grew this structure in Brazil from 30 children that they could host at the beginning to 303. And it was wonderful. We involved so many people and we did so many events. And I could actually bring this part that was so important for me and, such a deep connection and feeling into the business. And this changed totally both my energy, my commitment, and the results. Because when people see you so, so passionate, they connect with you on a different level.
I love the fact that what you're saying there, there's so many things that will resonate, as you would know, with so many women out there, because as women, we love to give, we love to nurture, we love community, we love, creating collaborations and, just that sense of community. And that's how you've just demonstrated how you can do that through business and through making a business super successful, but also getting, to live your passions every day and give back and create that lovely, sense of being lit up inside by what you really want to do.
That's what I work together with my clients every day. It's how, they can grow their business, but connecting it to a bigger project, a bigger mission that they have.
Yeah.
This makes just a huge difference, both in the commitment and in how people connect with them.
Yeah. So I'm interested to know, so obviously you were loving this business that you were in. You had now made it super successful and it was like feeding all your passions and everything that you wanted to do. So why did you decide all of a sudden, okay, let's have 6 more companies? How did that come about?
Well, it started a little bit. The first one that I started after, my biggest project was just, I met people through my business that were passionate about some other projects, and we started to engage in that. We shared this big passion and we decided to just make it happen and just create something new. And I always start a business with business partners because I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate about teams and people. So that's what really drives me. So when I meet the right person and I'm inspired about creating something together, it's the right moment for me to start something with that person. So that's how all my businesses actually started. And
did you do one at a time, or were there sometimes overlapping? Was it over 10 years you just sort of did one and then another and then another?
Well, I started for sure one at the time at the beginning. But then during the last years, I actually started more than one at the same time.
Wow.
Even because when you understand how to choose the right people around you, and there is one core thing that I communicate to all my partners is that I have several businesses. So I always choose someone that has a little bit more availability on time and energy than I have to run it, because I know that I would be, in and out, but I can't really commit to a full day in that business. So I learned to choose the right people, and I have some rules around that. Like, I want people that somehow were already in that industry, even if they didn't do exactly what we are doing. But I need them to have some sort of experience, because if I will not be there full time, they need to know a little bit how everything works. And to be connected, and they need to know just how to move it forward. I didn't always have business partners that had businesses before. Sometimes they were just, working on some other project for someone else. But I want them, very inspired. Like, I want them to love what we are doing, because I know that this makes a huge difference. And even if they don't have all the parts and pieces, they will figure it out if they are passionate enough.
Yeah, and if they're doers, if they like to get things done. But what I find fascinating, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, is, so many people struggle to even run one business. And here you are able to run 7. And now you've stepped out of all those businesses and you're now coaching and consulting to executives and CEOs on how to do it. But all those businesses are still running, and you still own those businesses, right? So how do you get to that? How do you get a business to the point where you can be so free, so flexible?
Well, it comes back to the people that you surround yourself and how you help them become leaders themselves. So it's about empowering others and help them to become leaders, instead of, many people, and I see that in many business owners, you are a little bit in the frame where everything is about you, and you need to check everything, you need to do everything, because nobody will do it as good as you.
And women always say that. It's just easier to do it myself.
And I was that frame as well. And I needed to change that at some point, because life sent me a very, very important message, because I broke my spine.
A big lemon, bitter lemon.
I needed to be 6 months in bed. So I couldn't do everything myself because it was impossible.
Was this when you had the first business?
I had my first business and I had another one running.
Oh, okay. So you had to learn. Wow, 6 months in bed.
So it was very early. And, I was actually struggling a lot because I was already with these 2 businesses, so involved in both, that I didn't really know how to manage everything. And this happened, and I was, totally freaking out because I didn't know how everything would work with me in bed 6 months. But this helped me. This obviously I was forced to engage in a conversation how I could empower my team in, moving the business forward, even if I wasn't there. And it was very inspiring. I loved the conversation. I kept on developing that over the years because I'm very passionate about, and that's something that I help all my clients to do. It's how to. It's not just not just do you want to exit the business or not, but even if you want to stay involved, it's a different way to work, and people around will be more inspired if they know that they are actually empowered and not just workers.
And also given permission, I think, because sometimes I think as business owners, we have great people on our team and we do try to empower them, but then from their perspective, they still see you as the owner and the head, so they're afraid to step up sometimes. So you have to inspire your team to think about the business like it's theirs. And what would they do?
Yeah, there's so many business owners that complain a little bit about, my team is wonderful, but they don't like the business would be theirs. And so I go in there and ask them, okay, but where is your communication actually telling them that and giving them the permission to do that? And where are you still keeping a frame of control where they feel that they can't really put all their energy, and people can be so creative when you give them the freedom to do that. And you need to give them the freedom in a set of frames where, they understand what's the outcome and they understand how to really work all together. Yeah. But once you do that, and then you give them the freedom to express themselves, they will just blossom. It's just a total different experience of work.
Yeah, and it enables you to grow much bigger or to do other projects and other things. So I'm dying to know. I know you have a formula for success now that you coach people through, and I know that there are steps involved. And I'm sure everybody watching is going, "Come on, Barbara, just get to the steps. We want to know." So can you run us through? If what is your formula for success with this in business?
Look, I call that my Women in Power formula.
I love it. Women in Power formula.
Exactly. That's what I coach women on, to help them really become empowered in their business and not work in the business, but work on the business and expand it and really reach their bigger vision. So it's a 5-step formula that I coach them through. Yeah. And it starts exactly with what we already said, which is being you. So be you, it's, create a business. Yes, create a business and a brand that reflects and includes all your passions, all your personality parts, so that you can really express yourself in the business. I believe that your business should be an expression of who you are.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And you have new passions. We need to find a way to bring them in the business as well and connect them. It can be with some sort of, social projects. It can be with kind of things. But once I start to coach someone, I come in and I try to look at their brand, their business, their personality, and we see all the parts and pieces that are not reflected there yet. And how can we actually involve all these parts in the business? And that's the very first step.
Okay.
The second step is called be accessible.
Okay.
This is, how you create products. Like, okay, you have a brand, and if people want to really engage with you, how do they do that? Do you have products? Do you have services? And more important, do you have packages? I love packages. You package together products and services and different ways to engage with your clients. And what I always suggest to my clients is create some sort of package of product that you really love, because this will make a difference.
That your heart is in the package, Yes.
And very often you end up engaging with clients that are somehow a reflection of who you are. Because if they're attracted to you and you are so passionate about solving that problem, it's because you are somehow connected. Yeah. So what would you like as a product to solve this problem? This would be much easier to market, to sell, to just bring to the client saying that's your answer and I believe in that.
What about though, the way they say at the moment that sometimes the problem with products and services is that something that's valuable to me might be not valuable to somebody else, so how do you balance that with what I think is amazing with what actually the market wants?
Well, you choose your target market at the beginning. That's part of BU. That's part of creating a brand, is choosing a target market that you want to serve.
Yes.
And what is that very often, we resonate more with people that either have some sort of challenges that we have too,
yes,
or that we had in the past and we solved. So we are passionate about giving them the solution that made such a huge difference for us. So in that moment, when we choose a target market, very often if we really see that it's a target market that even just on some parts resonate with some part of us.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we need to connect to when we create our products as well, in order to make sure that, there is some sort of congruency between us, the product, and the client.
Yes, right, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I'm wondering, let's say there's a business though, let's say there's a business owner watching who is in a business that's like an industrial widget seller or something that, maybe she's not too passionate about, but it's a great business and she likes kind of the systems and all that. I mean, how would you connect her personality into, like, the client base might be, miners out in Australia here, we would have big mining towns and things like that. And I always think, how as a woman would you connect with something like that,
Well, I think that she needs to find a passion that she can bring in the business. And sometimes, very often actually, especially if you have a business that you're not very passionate about, like the process or really the product, but it's working, this can be a huge, a very good, way to help someone that you're passionate about. So again, if you
that's a good idea.
Children, passionate about helping little girls in Rwanda, passionate about helping animals, saving whales in the ocean, whatever it is, once you see your business as, a way to fulfill your bigger mission, then you will find the passion there, because it's not just, growing the business to make some money, which nobody of us is really just driven by money. We always want a different experience of life. And when we can help someone that you're passionate about, then changes totally how we relate to our business and how we relate to the money that we make, or the possibilities that we have, because it's not just that's a great possibility for me to have more money in the bank, which at some point it's okay, I'm comfortable like that. I don't actually need or want to push myself anymore. Why should I do it? But when you see that you could make a huge difference for someone else doing that, because you could create a whole system or a whole program to help people, then you find a total different passion and a total different engagement.
I absolutely love that you said that, and I had no idea how you were going to approach that question. I just love it because it's so on my philosophy and what I try and say to women, about the money end of things. I say a lot of women shun money, and they, I'm not in it for the money and all that, and where nobody's in business really for just the money, but it's the choices and the things that it's an amazing tool that it can give you the opportunity to do so many things, like help so many people and give back.
It's free to create whatever you want.
Yes.
So whatever you're passionate about, whatever you want to create, if it's a school or a project to even empowering women or helping women to be more self-confident, or helping people to understand, dolphins or whatever.
That's a good one.
I had a client that said, I'm very passionate about soldiers that come back from wars and they are in post-traumatic syndrome, and they come back to life, and how will they have support? Because at some point the support from the institution stops, and they're still, with their family, with their work, everything has changed for them. And I want to create some sort of program to help them. And I would never think about that, because that's not something that I never thought, even if it's wonderful. But every one of us has a different passion that really drives them. And when you bring that in the business just, looks totally different from one minute to the other. It's like now it's not anymore about money, about miners or about products. Nothing. It's about helping someone that I'm passionate about, doing something to change this world, and makes the whole difference. People can connect to that energy.
Yeah.
And
that's how you get tribes and community.
Someone passionate.
Yeah. So what's step number 3? We only got as far as step 2.
Step number 3 is be seen, which is, how do we position yourself then as an expert, and your brand, your business, how do we position it as the go-to brand in the industry? And there, how do we use celebrity connections? How do we use media? How do we use marketing? How do we use communication as well? So it's all this part. How do we really make you a powerful communicator? And it's a little bit related to step number 4, because step number 4 is be influential, and it's, how to become exceptional at selling. And I know that many people think selling, it's not something that they really love, and again, it's about money, and it's not about money for me.
And it feels cheesy. It's like manipulation of people, and selling is, particularly women find selling difficult.
I know, but again, there I need to be very grateful to my coach, because he helped me see, again, the bigger picture. And once you connect to the bigger picture,
selling's easy.
Well, it's not only easy, but you sell all the time. It's not only selling a product, and it's not only an exchange for money. You sell your ideas. If you have a project to help people, and you want to go to bigger thought leaders in the world, you need to sell them on your project. So becoming influential and really developing this ability will make a huge difference. It's not just about money. It's about having, more influential people involved in your business, having, people doing something for you, helping you, giving you some sort of, better price.
I love that.
Not just selling to a client to have the money back. This is a very small idea of being influential and sales. But we sell all the time. We sell, the idea to our boyfriend to make the difference for them. A moment where we sell them on our design or our vision. I see that tonight I will just rest and you will make the dishes. And if we become influential and we know how to really make this happen, it becomes much easier, and we can bring that then in every area of our life. So becoming more influential is about developing, the influencer that is inside of you, and that very often you feel frustrated because you say like, I tried that, I tried to connect to this person, I tried to create this project, it's just nothing is happening. And then we see, okay, how can we be more effective and more powerful in our communication in order to make it really happen and involve more people and sell them on this project, sell them in this, design, vision that we have.
Yeah. And do you find that's different for everyone? Like, well, not everyone, but I mean, being a powerful communicator, it really is linked to your own personality and how you do things. And
and there is very much, this belief that, again, it's a little bit, for me, a small belief, which is you need to have a certain personality to be good in sales, to be good in influencing, etc. And I find that actually that's not true. I work with so many people, so many women especially, they have so different personality. It's wonderful. But once they connect really to their values and why they're doing that and what they're passionate, and they can really express it and communicate it, then it doesn't matter if they are more fun and super hyped up, or if they are passionate but serious. It doesn't really matter, because people connect to their energy. So it's about helping them feeling really powerful.
I love that, actually. It's sort of saying that once you connect to your own authentic energy and you are authentic and true to your own nature, people and opportunities are naturally attracted to you because you are living your own truth. You're an embodiment of your own truth.
And very often, when we go out and communicate to people, we have brought in so many beliefs and things that, when we communicate, we already think, okay, he will never do that. So our communication, it's already, it's not clean. It's already a little bit weird, because we come energy like, I know that we'll not do that, but I will try it anyway.
Yes.
And it comes across as, weird, even if you're trying to use the best communication possible. If you come from this space in your heart and in your system, it doesn't work. So it's about really understanding, coming from a place of love and appreciation for whatever will happen, everything happens for a reason and everything is good.
Yeah.
And if something doesn't work, it means that something better would work.
Yes.
And from there on, we move, on understanding how we can actually really create what we want to create.
Yeah, I love that. That's powerful stuff, really. And
Yes.
what about the final step 5?
Yeah, which leads us to the last part,
Yeah.
which is our final result, which is exactly be powerful. So how do we develop our leadership? And developing our leadership, for me, is really a lifelong journey. And it's about developing, your consciousness as well, in order to really inspire other people and help them becoming leaders, so that then you can have, more freedom even to do different things and to work on bigger projects. Because as long as it's just about you, you can only have a project that is so big.
Yeah.
You can't, too many things. And if we look at the biggest leaders in the world, they don't have businesses that are just about them. They have leaders around them. They have people that they trust, that they empower, that move projects and parts of their business forward. Without them, if not, they wouldn't be able to, reach this dimension of their business, their brand, their projects, their designs. It would be impossible. So there is where really the magic happens. When you are so powerful and so conscious about yourself, your communication, what you want to create, that then you can really inspire other people and help them to step into this vision and, bring their passions in that and grow it with you.
Yeah. So I'm interested in you use the word power. So be a woman in power. And what I find interesting about the word power, it's like the word money, it's like the word wealth. They're very masculine. The connotations are very masculine, right? And I think a lot of women, and I know you would see this with the women you coach, and I come across it in the women I speak to and coach too, they just have this kind of block when it comes to power, money, wealth, because they just feel so in conflict to feminine values. And I wanted to know, how do you I'm with you in that it's not in conflict with feminine values if you do it in the way that we're talking about here, but how do we get more women to understand that to be a woman in power or to be a woman of wealth is not to be a man of a woman?
Well, look, I think that this comes back to the fact of, we have this belief and this vision of power connected to a man.
Yes.
And women are always the weak sex.
Yeah.
And actually that's absolutely not true. And a woman is weak when she tries to step into a man's world and to act like a man. There she loses completely all her strengths. I mean, strengths of a woman are being emotional and, being connected and having this wonderful intuition. Every one of us knows about women's intuition. And when we take this away and we say, no, now we need to think like a man, we're just not ourselves. How can we be powerful if we try to like someone else? We lose all our, groundedness and stability and everything that we built over the years about us and our personality can't be useful for us anymore because we want to be someone else. And this is just so difficult. Yeah. So I think that women need to really step out and understand that the more they are feminine, the more they will be powerful.
Yeah.
And not the opposite.
I love that. I absolutely love that. The more that we be feminine, the more powerful we'll be. So do you think that leadership is changing women, or are women changing leadership? If that makes sense.
Well, I think for sure both. And I can tell you that in business, women are changing leadership for sure. Yeah. Because now that we have more women involved and, there are more and more women starting businesses and stepping out. Yeah. And this is changing the way people see leadership, because when women bring their energy into a business, the business is just so different, obviously. And, men are wonderful, nothing against them. I love men and I love working with men. Many of my business partners are actually men. Yeah, because
maybe that's the formula for success.
A woman and a man come together, and that's probably what I saw, very early on with my parents.
Your parents, yeah.
when you can actually find how to put together these two different energies, these two different strengths and different personalities and different passions and different way to express, it's very powerful, because there you have really a complete business and a complete way to run it. So I love that, and I love men, but I think that in order to really add something to the partnership, a woman needs to be a woman.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So we need to really understand that we have such a gift to offer to the world and the men in the world.
And to men, yeah.
Yes, both our clients and our partners and people that work with us, they all appreciate us for being women. And if they need a man, they have so many that they can go to, so they don't need us to act like a man.
They need us to actually be women.
So that power, this is the power that I mean, like being really, herself, whatever it means to her. Many women then ask me, okay, does it mean that I need to always wear a dress or, a skirt or high heels? And I don't know. I mean, it depends what you have.
Yeah,
who you are and how do you feel comfortable. And that's just an expression, but it needs to be an expression of who you are. You don't need to, put some sort of limits, because since you're in business, you need to come across like a man. That's just not a powerful thing. Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's interesting actually, because women have been graduating from university at a higher rate than men for like 30 years. And yet we still have not as many female CEOs. We don't have, even on the billionaires lists and everything, we don't have self-made female billionaires. We have a few, but not a lot. And it's just, we seem as women to be hitting this ceiling all the time, but it's actually, I think, created by ourselves, because we're not being true to our feminine power. And actually that is where the power lies, is in ourselves.
And power as something masculine, and we see, like money. We see money as dirty and we don't want that. And although we are not doing that for money, we are doing that for a higher purpose. But we don't understand that the people that are more influential, that can actually help more people in the world, are the people that have more money either because I don't know, they come from a very wealthy family, or because they actually have a working business that can help them then, impact the world. And I know that women are very, very driven by making a difference in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
They help out, they want to give back, they want to, change lives. That's something that they're passionate about. But very often they miss the connection of, if I have a really working business and, I can bring money in, then I can help more people, both because I can involve more people, I can reach more people, I can have, bigger leaders helping me working on that project. So I can really make a difference. I mean, of course, every one of us could move to, Rwanda or move to Somalia and help people there. And I'm sure it's beautiful when you do that. But how many more people can you help if you have like a working business that is helping you reaching so many people in the world and engage each and every one of them in the conversation about helping these people in Somalia or in Rwanda? There, your power just grows and grows and grows, and you can reach more people, you can involve them, you can make bigger results happening and faster.
And it will change the entire world if more women step up into this power. Yeah.
And women are so driven by helping others that if everyone would step into that power, we would really have a different world.
Yeah, we will. It's coming.
Yeah, I'm sure about that, and that's what I'm passionate about.
So Alessia, speaking of, power and business and wealth and changing the world, what is the big vision and the future? What does the future hold for the Alessia Marini empire?
Well, you asked me that in a very, very special moment of my life.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you know, but I'm pregnant.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's so exciting. We've announced it on Feminine Wealth TV. Oh, congratulations. Very
I'm pregnant and we have a girl.
Wow, how perfect. We're having a girl in power.
Exactly. All that actually acquires even a bigger meaning for me, and it was immediate, especially when they told me it's a girl. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's perfect.
Assume just much bigger meaning. So I want to keep working on that. I'm very passionate these days about helping women that, start a business for some sort of social desire, helping people, helping animals. I'm working with some women that are working on some projects about, bringing together two different part of the community and, solving problems together.
Yeah.
Very often what I see is that these women started with a big passion, but then they don't know how to monetize it.
Oh, yes,
they find funds and how to monetize it and how to grow it. So very often there are wonderful projects that could help a lot of people that then don't go anywhere because they just don't have the tools to make it happen. So that's what I'm most passionate about these days, to help women that have this big passion, want to start a business from there, then to really make it work.
Yeah.
Because again, that's what if these projects can really grow and can be sustainable over time, because if they don't monetize over time, they will not be sustainable.
No, and then they won't create change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm passionate about these days, helping these women really make the impact that they want in their community first and then in the world, so that we can really create some change.
Oh, I get tingles. That's so exciting. Really exciting. So if the viewers want to, find out more about you and the great work that you're doing and they want to connect with you, where should they go?
Look, they can go to my website. Mm-hmm. It's very easy. It's alessiamarini.com.
Great.
And there all my contacts, all the information about how to connect with me, and I answer personally all my emails. So it's easy.
Great. Okay. That's brilliant. Oh, Alessia, thank you so much. I mean, I'm just so excited to have you on the show and to hear your news about a baby. That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. How many months are you now?
Almost 5.
5 months. Wow. That's exciting. Yeah.
Very exciting.
So, and for everyone watching, thank you again for joining us for another week of Feminine Wealth TV. And remember to catch me later on this week on my podcast on iTunes or on Podomatic or any of the other stations, Wealth Unplugged, where I'm going to be talking about my key takeouts from today's chat with Alessia. And remember to come back next week when I'm going to be joined by a mystery guest on the show. Thanks. Have a great week.